welcome back to Cosmetics Anonymous. I am your favorite new mama bougie vintage, and today's video is an Astrolotea. I'm doing it a little different today because I gotta get ready to go. So I decided I would do my makeup while I shed some light on the Geminis. Up until this year, I've been a fan of Gemini. I think Geminis are hilarious. I think they are a little crazy. But who's not, you know? So it's not a big deal. My Marc Jacobs primer. They are a little nutty, you know. But I'm not gonna do too much storytelling today. My stories would literally be based around one individual. So I don't necessarily want to do that. So I'll just talk about the traits and what rings true and what doesn't ring true. But what I will say is that when you're good with a Gemini, on the Gemini's good side, there's nothing to worry about. Not that there's anything to worry about when you're on the bad side, child. But the bad side is just somebody you don't really want to interact with ever. You don't ever want to be on the Gemini's bad side, because the Gemini is the type of person that will say things to hurt you, even if you guys are close. Like if you are family, if you are friends, they don't care. Once they're mad at you, the gloves are off and they're a completely different person, and it's just not something you want to deal with. Now I'm using my Fenty primer, and I actually already primed with SMASHBOX primer water. So the Gemini is an air sign. It's the sign that comes after Taurus, and it's also ruled by Mercury. The greatest compatibility for Gemini would be the Sagittarius and the Aquarius, which makes a lot of sense because the Geminis have a level of immaturity to them, much like Cancer, and Sagittarius can be very childish. So I can totally see why a Sag and a Gemini would work out. No shade, no tea. And the Gemini dates are between May 21st to June 20th. So allegedly, the strengths of the Gemini include gentleness. I think to an extent. They're definitely gentle. Even when they are being mean, they're not like physically gonna try to harm you, you know? They're just a little nutty. They try to hurt you with their words. They are also affectionate. So if you are somebody that needs to be shown affection, you'll get that with Gemini. They like hugs and kisses and all that good stuff. Also have the ability to learn quickly, come up with ideas. So they are creative. The weaknesses of a Gemini are that they are nervous. I can definitely attest to this. They are team scary AF. Inconsistent and indecisive. I agree with this 100%. What I've learned about Gemini, being around Gemini, is that they're constantly, which I found with Cancer too, in and out of friendships. Gemini's weird. They're almost two-faced in a sense. Like they literally have two personalities, like more than two, but they have two personalities where one is like they're super cool with somebody, but then they'll turn around and talk shit with their other friends about that same person they're super cool with. And then kiki and smile like that's not what they were doing. And then they fall out with their friends, and then they get back with their friends, and then it's just a whole crazy cycle of falling out and getting back until people decide they don't want to deal with it anymore. Geminis love music. They like to read. I can definitely attest to this. The Gemini I know definitely is a reader, loves books, loves music, love to dance and party and, you know, live it up. You guys, the Makeup Forever Invisible Cover Stick Foundation is my favorite makeup product right now. Well, my favorite foundation. The Gemini is a very sociable person, so they definitely do interact well with a lot of different people. They'll talk to anybody. They'll strike up a conversation with anybody, where I'm kind of the opposite of that. Not that I wouldn't consider myself sociable. I have to feel people out before I just strike up a conversation with them. I'm literally the type of person that will sit on the couch and just be scrolling through my phone as I observe everybody, because I'm guarded that way. And so that's just me. I'm really shy, to be honest. Like, I'm a shy person. Geminis do have that quality where they can be sociable and they can talk to anybody. Despite the fact that they are sociable, they definitely do like to be alone when they're ready to be alone. They need their space and time for themselves. The biggest problem I find with Gemini is that you literally don't know who you're gonna get on what day, which is another problem that I was talking about with Cancer, where you don't know if you're gonna get a happy Gemini or a mean Gemini, and those are literally their two sides, mean and happy-go-lucky. Like, it's one or the other. So it's no surprise that somebody like Kanye West, who is a Gemini, suffers with bipolar disorder, because girl Geminis can really be type crazy. Mental institution, bitch need a straight jacket, like legit. The Gemini is a very curious person, and I would say they are somebody that definitely likes to travel. Oh, my nose is about to be super snatched. With the whole travel thing, a lot of the time Gemini can get really restless because they feel like they don't have enough time to see all that they want to see. I would actually say that Gemini is kind of spontaneous, because I remember at one point my little Gemini person was ready to just run away to a whole different province and I guess kind of start over. A lot of people can't just pick up and go, but because of their indecisiveness, they obviously never went. Also, lack of funds. But that's Gemini for you. They definitely are not somebody that wants to be grounded in one place. So the two other air signs are Libra and Aquarius. Though air signs and earth signs, because Taurus is an earth sign, can get along, there obviously can also be turmoil, because look at Aquarius and Taurus. We're definitely not best friends for life, and we will never be best friends for life. Like, ever. It's a really hard relationship. The planet Mercury, which is the ruler of the sign, it actually is the planet of communication, writing, and movement. I would say for the most part, Gemini can communicate, but a lot of the times what they're trying to say doesn't come out right, because they say a lot or they say too much. Even though they know how to communicate, it's more about what they are communicating that becomes an issue. People that are born under this sun sign, they often feel like half of them is missing, so they're constantly on the search for new friends and people to have in their corner and their space. And I definitely have witnessed this with Gemini. I feel like it's almost like they recycle friends. Or not even, yeah, like they recycle friends, because they fall out with people and then they make up and then they fall out again, and then they're finding new people to be close with, and they're never really whole. If there's one thing that I can say about Gemini, it's that they're definitely never boring. They're somebody that's full of life, and as long as you are within their good graces and on their good side, it's never a dull moment with them, you know? They're cool people to be around. It's just when that immaturity strikes and they start to act up. And the Gemini is definitely somebody that likes to poke the bear and run, or talk big talk but has no hands, you know? And so they like to act hard, but like if placed in a fight, they would get their ass beat. But that goes hand in hand with them kind of talking all that shit to try to hurt your feelings, and then when you're ready to beat them up, they don't necessarily apologize, but they will run for their godforsaken life. They also find like if you are in an altercation with a Gemini, they also will find a way to try to drag something out that doesn't necessarily need to be dragged out because, again, the immaturity thing. So the actual sign of Gemini is supposed to be the caring twins. And that is actually why there is so much immaturity there, because there's a level of innocence to Gemini that many can't really understand. The sign really just says it all. It's basically two baby twins and their childish nature is just who they are as people. Gemini is a very accepting person. I would say they don't do too much judging of other people. Even if sometimes they do, it's not something they do on a regular basis. They might lend an opinion, but their intent is never to really judge somebody. If you are close with a Gemini, they're definitely ready to, you know, kind of go at bat for you. So the Gemini actually does enjoy, you know, mending their issues, mending their differences with whoever they have an issue with, depending, I guess, on how badly you cross them, if you cross them, or whatever the situation may be. But the problem with Gemini is that they don't they don't see the, I guess, fault in people's actions if they're close with that person. So basically, if they're wrong, the Gemini will still defend that person no matter what, to the death, you know, which is just loyalty. But if somebody's wrong, then you should actually say, hey, you're wrong, you know. But they don't do that if they close with whoever is wrong. They kind of co-sign. The Gemini is definitely somebody that loves a good intellectual conversation. They're really deep in that sense, and if they're trying to date somebody, they want to be sure that they can have real conversations with that person, you know. And to the Gemini, verbal communication or verbal contact is equally as important as physical contact. So basically, if the Gemini really likes somebody and they're able to have a conversation with them and they're ready to take things to the next level, physical contact with that same person is going to be all the better for them, because they like to have somebody that is an intellectual in their corner. A Gemini person is definitely a big flirt. Even if they're in a relationship, they're definitely out here flirting with the masses. They might cheat, but it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee ever about cheating, you know, but Geminis definitely, they don't keep their eyes or their hands to themselves if they feel like, you know, they're connecting with somebody else on a different level. I think when a Gemini enters a relationship, they know whether or not it's going to be a temporary thing or a long-term thing, and so they may dibble and dabble in different relationships until they're ready to settle down with somebody one-on-one. The Gemini is somebody that needs lots of passion, lots of intellectual properties. They need variety, they need spontaneity, they need somebody to basically match their same energy. So two Geminis might be able to, you know, have a relationship, but that's a whole lot of personalities in one relationship to deal with. So you might want to stay away if you are a Gemini. If you are dating a Gemini and you are a Gemini or married, whatever, tell us what you feel like in the comment section below. When a Gemini is dating, they are looking for somebody to be their lover, their friend, their confidant, their world, basically. You can't just be a lover, you gotta be a friend too, honey. So one of the biggest challenges for Geminis in love or trying to find love is finding an emotion that lasts. When they're younger, it's all good and gravy, but as they start to age, they start to realize that a lot of their love life has been filled with bonds that were not genuine. I guess just the wrong people. I guess they confuse love a lot for something that it's not. So when it comes to friendships, Gemini is definitely somebody that has a lot of friends, maybe too many friends, but they definitely love to spend time with those people. They enjoy the company that they keep. Even if it's not the best company, they'll still enjoy it. Oh, kickback, hello. Though they do like to chat a lot, they can't keep or hold the same conversation for too long. The topic needs to change often because they are quick to get bored. Gemini is constantly needing to feel inspired, and if you can't offer that, even in friendship, they're gonna be on to the next with the quickness. They're definitely family oriented. They love their family, especially their immediate family. That's who's important to Gemini. And if you are a Gemini, chances are you're willing to stick up for your family at any cost, even if, like I said earlier, they are wrong. Don't get your ass beat. Don't be out here getting your ass beat, Gemini. Sticking up for the wrong people. And it's kind of crazy because if Gemini, say Gemini defends somebody they're close to, this color is, listen, eccentric out of this palette, even though there's a lot of kickback, I love it on the lids. It's everything. So say Gemini is defending somebody they're close to, despite the fact that the person's in the wrong, and then another situation occurs where basically somebody that Gemini is not close to does the same exact thing that the person they were defending did, and they're claiming that that person is in the wrong. They don't see that with the person they're close to, even though the person basically committed the exact same crime. So that might be Gemini. Okay, Norvina, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. It's cute. But even though some of these colors, even on the launch photos, I was like, okay, this palette's looking ashy, but I'm still gonna buy it because I wanted to review it. But in person, I still say that this shit's powdery as hell. Is this like the Subculture palette? It's too powdery for me. I'm not necessarily a fan of that, but the pigment is real. You literally have to blow the brush off because there's so much kickback. So when it comes to Geminis and money and career goals, or whatever you want to call it, a lot of the times, because they're such creative people, they can get lost. I've definitely witnessed this. You have somebody super talented per se, and they kind of get lost in the shuffle of things. They're very indecisive and they don't necessarily know exactly what they want. So they might think they want something, and then that thing doesn't seem realistic anymore, and they get confused, and so they try other things and do a whole lot of odd jobs to make money. A lot of Geminis live double lives. You might think that they're super innocent like the twins that they're supposed to be, but they're really out here doing the most. Let's have a toast. Geminis would definitely make for great lawyers, but their best bet is to have a job where they can constantly be on the go, like a flight attendant or something, and able to express themselves freely. They definitely are on the entrepreneur spectrum of things. The Gemini is somebody that needs to be able to shine at work. A job that has too much routine is not necessarily the best fit for them, though they'll do great there. They need something a little bit more challenging. So Gemini's thoughts about money is that it is basically a necessary evil. I would definitely say that Geminis like nice things. I mean, Kanye West is out here talking about Saint Laurent is his Zara, but they also like to front because they will buy fake brands, fake designer, and flaunt it like it's real, which is tacky, but that's none of my business. That being said, they don't really spend a lot of time thinking about money, and that goes both ways. That goes with You know, what am I going to do to make money, and how am I going to spend this money? You know, they don't really spend a lot of time thinking about stuff like that. Definitely work at keeping their finances in check. They don't pay their bills late because much like Taurus, they like to be secure. Secure the bag, okay? They like to keep the bag secured, which I cannot blame them for. Now, if Gemini is somebody that you want to attract, or if you are talking to a Gemini and you feel like, you know, you want to move things to the next level with them, this is how you do it. So a Gemini man is very enthusiastic and he's full of life. So full of life, he gives you life, bitch. Okay, when you don't have life, he stops by and drops you off some. That's how full of life Mr. Man Gemini is. He's a funny man. He's adventurous. So if you like adventure, bitch, Gemini man is for you. If you're somebody that is high energy, I need a liner. So where were we again? I think we were at attracting a Gemini man. The Gemini man is usually very attractive to other people or the people around him because their personality is ruled by dualism. It makes them really inconsistent, but they also have a wit to them, which is kind of charming. The Gemini man is not the type of man that you can legit cling to and be up under his ass 24/8. So if you look at Kanye West, you see that he's definitely something that needs space. Kim has zero control over her man. Zero control. And the Gemini man definitely needs some freedom. So if you're the clingy type, bitch, stay away. Because he ain't going to be with you for long. So to win a Gemini guy over, you have to laugh at his jokes. You have to be spontaneous and adventurous. Oh, what's happening? You have to be fun and you have to stimulate his mind. And last but not least, the Gemini prefers you to show rather than tell. So you might not get a lot of I love yous, but the Gemini man will show you how he loves you with tokens of his appreciation. And you, in turn, have to do the same for him. You have to show him that you love him with the little things. The Gemini man wants to experiment during sex. So if you are a prude, you ain't gonna win over the oh my gosh. You're not gonna win over the Gemini man at all. And now how to attract the Gemini woman. To attract the Gemini woman, you have to be able to keep up with her. Both of her. Both of her personalities. You have to be able to, I guess, adjust to whichever personality she's giving you. The Gemini woman might be lovey-dovey 1 second and then the next second she's like, get the F away from me. That is something that you have to be willing to work with or work around. And it can get tough. But such is life. I mean, no matter which partner you get, there's going to be things about them that is hard to deal with. You just have to, I guess, bite the bullet if you are truly in love with that person and learn to deal with it. The Gemini woman is pretty soft-spoken, unless you get on her bad side. Then she got all the mouth in the world. And she's also extremely open-minded and will probably give anyone a chance. She's not somebody that necessarily has a preference or dates one type of guy. She will date different kinds of men or women, whatever the case is. So the Gemini woman takes a lot of time and she puts a lot of thought, per se, into her relationships. She's not just gonna jump into the relationship with any old somebody, okay? It's not going down like that, never ever. And Taurus is like that too. Like, I can literally be in a relationship for a long time, and then once I'm out of that relationship, I need to be single for a long time and hoe it up. So that's me. I think Gemini's similar, where they can be single. There's some people that can't be single and they relationship hop. I think I talked about that in the Cancer video. So if a Gemini woman does happen to fall in love with a man and she is, or that man is feeding her soul, so sexually, intellectually, mentally, everything, she will definitely not be afraid to bring up love, marriage, and the baby carriage, okay? She's trying to get married. She's trying to grow old together. She's trying to do all that and then some. And Salem's down there telling you guys about Gemini. The Gemini is always looking to learn something new. That's exactly why they love books and reading. They want their partner to show them a whole new world, okay? So if you are pursuing a Gemini woman, be sure to come with the facts and then some. You don't want to come to the Gemini woman empty-handed in the knowledge department. She needs somebody that can keep her brain stimulated. Gemini is no floozy, honey. She's not about to be here popping that kitty on anybody and everybody. She has to really dig you as a person before she opens up her flower to you. And her sex life is almost unique, and only the right person gets to experience it with her. So the other signs that are compatible with Gemini, other than Sagittarius and Aquarius, or is it Sagittarius and Libra? Whatever. The point is the signs that are most compatible with Gemini are Aries, Leo, Libra, Aquarius, and Sagittarius. It's crazy to me that Gemini and Taurus can actually get along, because if your perfect match is a damn Sagittarius, I don't know how to, and an Aquarius, bitch, those are the two signs that Taurus just cannot deal with. So if you are able to deal with those signs, if you're a Gemini and those are your those are good matches for you, I feel like Gemini and Taurus would clash, because if you can get along with a damn Sagittarius and an Aquarius child and a Leo, girl, we should not be compatible. But I personally like half of Gemini. The other half I could do without, but Geminis altogether, much like Cancer, is a sign that I really do like, but everybody just has different qualities that, you know, you don't fuck with, and that's just what it is with me. But if I meet a Gemini, I would so love to build a friendship with them, because Geminis ain't bad, you know? But I do feel like when you're good with a Gemini, you're really good. But when you're bad with a Gemini, you're really bad. And they're almost vindictive in a way. And I can't deal with vindictive people, child. Absolutely not. And so I'm just going to touch a little bit on Taurus and Gemini as a couple, because I think it's interesting. Due to the fact that when you try to get in a relationship with a Gemini, they don't want to be necessarily held down. It's hard for Taurus to build trust with them, and that's a part of the reason the relationship sometimes won't work out, because Taurus is a very possessive type of person, and we're not possessive, we're very territorial over those that we love. And if Gemini is not feeling that, I mean, there's nothing you can really do. And if you're not going to let the Taurus in, Taurus going to have a problem. So when it comes to communication and intellect, the Taurus and the Gemini compatibility in the conversation department is, okay, Salem, great, is really strong, which is why they make great friends, but not necessarily great lovers. Because this kid is crazy. Because they can communicate really well, and I think communication is a great aspect of friendship, and it's also obviously a great aspect of relationship, but there's too many other factors that go into having a relationship. So it's hard for Taurus and Gemini to move into anything beyond friendship. Basically, in the communication department, where Gemini lacks, Taurus picks up the slack for the Gemini. So Gemini can have a really forgetful nature, and Taurus is thoughtful, and they can basically fill in the blanks for Gemini. One of the reasons I feel a Taurus and a Gemini couldn't really be compatible is because Gemini is always on the go and loves change, and Taurus is almost afraid of change. Taurus likes routine. Taurus likes to, you know, do the same thing over and over again and will never get bored. But Gemini wants to go here, there, and everywhere. Going here, there, and everywhere doesn't necessarily mean traveling. It just means Their indecisiveness can drive the Taurus crazy, and guess who doesn't have time to be driven crazy? And Salem, do you mind, child? Please, like, seriously? But that's basically it. In conclusion, if you guys are wondering, I do fuck with Gemini, but y'all got to get your shit together, because I don't understand why one day you're hot and one day you're cold, one day you're yes and one day you're no. I don't get it, you know. But shout out all the Geminis out there. Tell me if you guys can relate. Tell me if I'm so wrong. You want to smack the shit out of me. Let me know in the comment section below. I love you all so much, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Say, what are you doing? Check out the baby. No, leave that alone. You don't get to use that. What? That's it. Why do you want to be upside down so bad?